Hello. I have kitty cats on my sweater today. Shirt. Don't need sweaters here in Texas right now. So what I have popping up for me today and last night is my ego/inner child saying things like, how can we move to Sedona? It's cold there. We don't know anybody. Where are we going to live? What are we going to do there? It feels scary. It's expensive there. I don't know how we're going to do it. And my ego is immediately defensive about the people she might meet there. She might not like them. They might not be nice. They might not be friendly. They might be egotistical. She feels very small, like the world is too big, like she doesn't measure up. She just wants to be taken care of. She doesn't want to have to be independent and go out and make her way in the world. And she just basically feels negative about the whole idea. Like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to pick up and move when it's comfortable here, when we know what to expect here, when we know how things work, and it's secure and predictable? Why would you want to leave that? To go off to somewhere that we might not like. We might not like things about that place, and it's like the things we want, there are some things we want that are different from what we have right now. I've envisioned just having a small place, something that's simple and easy to take care of, a very simple life. I had a lot of that in Albuquerque. It's just that the house there was too big. It just was bigger than what I needed. The garden around it felt like needed more care than what I wanted to give it. I got to the point where I was just feeling like that house and property was more than I wanted to take care of, even though it's pretty simple taking care of it and I haven't had to do all that much. But I would like something smaller and even more manageable. But I don't know if there's something like that in Sedona. It feels to me like it's an expensive place to live. So when I start actually thinking about moving there, or just even going there and visiting, it's like I don't want to have to spend a lot of money. I have plenty of money for the things that I need and want, but it's not huge amounts. It just all depends on how I use it as to whether it's enough or not. It's definitely enough. living on the scale that I've been living up until now. But compared to some economies these days, it wouldn't be enough. But I know from a lifetime of experience that money is a very rubbery, elastic kind of thing. It can be too little or too much, depending on how you use it. So that's her fears and worries. That's the things that she wants to come up with, that she's thinking about. Of, oh dear, I don't know how I'll do this. I don't know how we'll do this. And here's what I know in my wise self. I know that I moved to Hawaii not knowing anyone in 2011. I found a little Airbnb place to stay. I walked everywhere I went because I didn't have a vehicle at that time. And she says, oh, but we can't do that now. And I don't expect to do that now. But I have my car now that I can take there. But I don't like to drive. No, we don't like to drive much. But we can do it when we need to. And the night that we had to go to the hospital for my daughter's baby to be born, we were guided. We found where we needed to go. It was a time of day when there wasn't much traffic on the road. We found where we needed to go and everything was okay. And I knew I could feel that we were being guided and held by the ones who help us, whoever that is, and taken where we needed to go. And the same is true now. We're not alone. We're not alone in this life. We have guides and helpers and angels. There are people who can help us. And if we're being called to that place, the ones who are calling us have something prepared for us. And if we're being called to be part of a community of people and beings, those people and beings are going to be loving and caring and helpful. We're not alone in this. In fact, that's what it's all about. It's about not being alone anymore in here. About finding others we can connect with on deep levels. That's what it feels like. The draw, the call is about something deeper, about connections, even about homecoming, about coming home to a place, to an energy, to beings who love us deeply, who know us deeply. And we can trust that. And we can trust that the information we need to know will come to us when we need to know it. And we will be guided to the place that is there for us to the people and beings who are there for us, to the purpose and activities and projects that are there for us. I remember that when I was in Hawaii, I was so creative. I had so many fun things to do. I loved the environment, and it felt like home. There was a banana tree on Maui. I think it was on Maui. Could have been on Kauai. I'm not sure at this point. Anyway, I was sitting on the grass, and the banana tree said to me, "Welcome home." And I knew that I had a connection with that land and that place, and that there were spirit beings there that I was connected to, that loved me, that welcomed me with open arms. One of the channeled messages I was listening to recently said that we are rediscovering our cosmic family, realizing that we are not alone and that we have never been alone, that these beings have always watched over us, cared for us, and loved us. And we're being called back into that cosmic family so that we can be loved and nurtured and taught new things. This person was talking about that humans have been like orphans, left alone and not knowing what to do, and that entire societies have been built on that perspective. We all feel abandoned, left alone, and like we have to do it all ourselves. But it's time for this to change, for us to recognize that we are part of a grand scheme, and that we have never been alone, and that we don't have to feel alone anymore. And it's interesting because I heard that channeled message, and the day before I had been thinking that this call from Sedona felt like someone who has been adopted, and they locate a birth family member, maybe father, mother, sibling, and they make arrangements to go and meet that person. And that's how I was feeling about going to Sedona, that I have family there that I'm going to meet, that I didn't know before. And it kind of helps me to think in those terms, to recognize, oh yes, I feel nervous, I feel scared, I feel anxious, because I'm going to meet someone for the first time, but they're family, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be more than fine. And I just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, going forward, making the decision to follow this call, and knowing that I just have to go through these feelings of fear and insecurity and uncertainty and not knowing. They're just part of the deal. It's part of my experience as a human being, but it's not going to stop me from doing this because it's the right thing for me. And I will be amply rewarded for facing these things, because I think there's going to be so much on the other side of that. So much joy, peace, wonder. So I'm going to trust that everything's going to be okay, and I'm going to wait for the right information to come to me, and it will come to me when it's time.